Ah, Olmec, glad to see ya. How have you been? Last series I did for you was that self-indulgent 22-7 series, right? Wallace telling idols what to do. What a crazy idea. I see you got a new series there. Better not be the old hide hypnosis making a foldering claim. It's a new series. I told you, I'll get around to it when I do the next idol roundup. Alright, let's see. Warlords of Sigrdrifa. Anime girl pilots versus Norse mythology. Oh, Olmec, you wacky son of a gun. You and your crazy ideas. But Warlords is about a group of girls tasked with saving the world. The world is surrounded by a series of pillars, protected by a series of giant flying beasts. These beasts will attack any humanity around these pillars, and these big pillars are known as primary pillars. These pillars create smaller secondary pillars, protected by smaller and weaker beasts. The same goes for tertiary pillars, created by the secondaries. All of this is in a bid to expand the territory of each pillar. The world government's current plans are unable to combat these beasts, and they're all gloom and doom, until a boy in an eye patch shows up and claims to be the god Odin. He says he's going to gift humanity with a group of girls called Valkyries, magical maidens that will pilot aircrafts called hero wings. By this, I mean World War II fighter planes that have magic missiles. The strongest of these pilots is Claudia Bruford, known as the Grim Reaper, as every pilot who supports her on her missions dies. This fact has made her antisocial, as she doesn't want to get close to anyone because she knows that as they fly with her, they will die. She eventually ends up getting transferred to the Japanese division, and plans to keep to herself. But the other Valkyries have different plans. The Japanese branch is closely knitted, and they are ready to make Claudia their new friend, thus starting the healing process that shows Claudia the power of friendship. I would actually like to see a series that completely focuses on this concept of healing a jaded magical girl. Yes, I have seen that post. I've even considered writing that story, but the series has a different plan for the story. After the 2 to 3 setup episodes and a beach episode, we shift our focus back to Odin and the planned raid, as he's decided he wishes to assist the branch to take out the primary pillar on Mount Fuji. And oh no, Odin pulls some Loki shenanigans and tricked our heroes, leaving them in disarray and requiring them to regroup to challenge him one more time for all the marbles. Now there are a few things I like about this. Spoiler alert, jump to X time to avoid spoilers, but yeah, Odin has an interesting motivation. Odin's the only god to survive Ragnarok, contrary to the original telling of the story. Now, alone in the new world, he grows both homestruck and longs for companionship, but I assume he sees humans as inferior, so he creates the Valkyries and makes sure that Claudia, who carries the blood of Odin, becomes one. He shapes the inside of the pillars and the beasts that guard them in the shape of his mythology. This includes a giant mechanical version of Thor, as well as raising dead Valkyries into his undead army to recreate Valhalla, all in an attempt to hold on to his former realm. This, of course, mirrors Claudia's story, as she goes from a loner to someone who finds true companionship in the Japanese branch. And a spoiler. I do also like some of the character dynamics of the show. Azuzu and Miyoko are all but dating, and they're very cute. You see some of Claudia's awkwardness, plus her visual assimilation to the shenanigans of the Japanese branch. I'm also just a sucker for a grouchy old man that has a heart of gold, so any interaction with him is quite appreciated. Lastly, I do like some of the world building. The Valkyries are idolized by the armies to a somewhat creepy degree, but you can kind of see the underlying culture that led to this. Valkyries are tasked with helping send off dying soldiers, getting their souls to the afterlife, as well as keeping up the morale of the civilians, as they link safety to the Valkyries. So it makes sense that these Valkyries would be considered idols among these communities. But I have issues as well. The forceful hand of fan service is ever present, the beach episode excluded. Changing room scenes, specific placement of characters on the screen. I won't claim that these characters are underage, but they feel young enough for me to raise concern. Like, why are we centering a butt shot when Odin's giving a monologue to one of the protagonists? Like, if that is a clear example of people working horny, I don't know what is. Additionally, the series, at least for me, has trouble feeling distinct. Like, Magical Girls but Pilot is new, but the magic system is never really built upon or explained past they have magic missiles, nor do they build upon the plane fights. I think building on either of these could give the series something more distinct. The series also has a bit of a tone shift issue, going from a beach episode to preparing for all-out war, where people are dying, and a one-episode gap can give a little bit of whiplash. Lastly, and this might be a bit of a petty point, but are you really going to base a plot point on the fact that no one knows anything about Norse mythology? Like, I can see characters not realizing the trees that sprout from the slain beast are linked to Yggdrasil, or references to the minor gods, but Odin is up there as like one of the better known gods. Norse mythology just got deleted off the earth, I guess. Warlords of Sigrdrifa does have some merit. I think you can do a lot with that spoiler point, if you wanted to give it a solo run as a focal point to a plot, or a source of a character's backstory. But Sigrdrifa itself doesn't have a lot of things to build on this. It does have some gals being pals, but its normal action isn't all that. Plus, the ever-present hand of fan service ruffles my feathers a bit. But this series is a bit better than average, and it'll come down to what tropes you enjoy, on whether or not you will rate the series higher. Maybe check this out if you're looking for some gals being pals, or are a geek for aviation, even if it's really shallow, or specifically want to take inspiration from that spoiler point.